About the segment and distance relationships that we went over before your quiz. Okay, we talked about two different ones, one on a number line and one in a coordinate plane. Okay, when you're talking about distance on a number line, okay, so we assumed that the coordinates for A and B were the lowercase letters that corresponded to the points. And your distance, which can also be expressed as the label AB, which is the distance between the points A and B, on a number line is equal to the absolute value of the difference of their coordinates. Again, it doesn't matter how you arrange them, your answer is going to be the same. Okay, so this is your distance formula for a number line. And now, we're going to see something that kind of relates to this a little bit later when we begin the pre-cal prep. I just want to introduce it here. But if I did something like this, absolute value of pi minus 4. This relationship that exists in the distance formula for these is true in any absolute value expression where you calculate the difference of terms. Okay, so if I were to ask you the absolute value of pi minus 4, you can rewrite this as the absolute value of 4 minus pi. Either of these will give you the same thing. Okay, so what you're going to see in the pre-cal prep portion of this class is if I gave you a problem like this, absolute value of pi minus 4, and I asked you to rewrite the exact answer without using a calculator and without using absolute value symbols. The way that you would do that is you would, again, either write them out or mentally picture these two options. Which of these options inside the absolute values would give you a positive number? Pi minus 4 or 4 minus pi? 4 minus pi. So when you simplify this and rewrite it without absolute values, the absolute value of pi minus 4 reduces down or simplifies into 4 minus pi. So you can evaluate that without a calculator. The same is going to hold true with radicals. So if I gave you something like this and said the absolute value, express the absolute value is 3 minus root 17 without using absolute value symbol. Okay, so what you need to do is be able to identify that this could go either of these ways. Okay, so using the properties that we see here in this distance formula, the absolute value of the difference of two quantities can be written either form. And so which of these forms is going to be a positive value regardless of the absolute value symbol? Casey? Okay, so the one on the right. So root 17 minus 3 is how you would rewrite this without using a absolute value. In addition to distance, we also looked here at the midpoint of these. So again, the midpoint marking the midway or halfway distance between these with lowercase m as its coordinate. And the midpoint of a number line is simply the average of the coordinates of its endpoints. So if you average A and B's coordinates, you get your midpoint. And so those would be the two formulas you're looking to use in a number line. Okay. In a coordinate plane, again, it's a similar, you have a formula to calculate this. So if we look at x1, y1, and x2, y2 as our ordered pair for each of these, and we'll call this point C and D. In a coordinate plane, your distance formula is equal to the square root of the difference of their x coordinates. And again, yesterday I wrote x1 minus x2. It doesn't matter. You can write either one as long as whichever x coordinate you start with, you have to start with the corresponding y coordinate as well. And so this would be your distance formula for a coordinate plane. There's also a midpoint for this coordinate plane as well, and the midpoint is a set of coordinates, and it's just the average x coordinate. So x1 plus x2 divided by 2, and the y coordinate is the average as well. And so this is how you would calculate your midpoint formula for a coordinate plane. All right, questions on those concepts that I talked about?